try to do my first video. For me, maybe it's gonna be a little different, complicated, I guess. So the situation we have, it's different, right? It's different. A few days ago I got this email from a client, and let's see, I'm gonna read the email before we draw together. We supposed to tattoo yesterday, but didn't work out. I feel because of the Linktree barrier, we didn't make it through this appointment. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I need to apologize for my English. Well, just a second. So this guy, he came to me through email, right? He emailed me and he told me on the email, I would like to get a tattoo of a Coffin design. The design is like the image you uploaded, but could you do it your design, please? Please change the design from flower to broke chain and write it something on the lid. He sent me the information, I'm not gonna tell you, on the coffin's lid, and open a little bit. I'm thinking about new tattoo, like getting out of the coffin. So he didn't send me too many information. He showed me the design he wants to. Let's see if I can show you the design. He want to a coffin. On the placement of the flower, he want a broken chain, and he want to write something on the lid. He say about the size is 4x4, but he don't tell me if it's inches or centimeters. Anyway, so we met about like yesterday, right? And then I'm gonna show the design I did, right? So I did this design. So I put the chain and I draw the coffin, right? The first design I didn't have the smoke or the clouds around, all right? What happened, it's like I really didn't like the design and the size. I feel could be nicer and better. Could be same design, but maybe need to do bigger, maybe a nicer movement of the clouds and the smoke, right? I don't know what's gonna turn out, right? But yesterday I met the guy, right? So we tried to put this design, this size on his arm, and he is more like kind of like a bigger person, more stronger, has more I can say chunky arms, if that's a word in English. My English it's a little bit bad, so I'm sorry. Anyway, so what I did yesterday, after we put the stencil, we talked for like half an hour, 40 minutes, and we came to a conclusion to do the appointment for other day, right? So that's the size of the space we can work. So I took the space of his arm, right? So that's the empty space he's have on his arm. So it's basically like this, you know, it's not like flat like this. His arm is not this size, but this is the size we can work it, right? And when we put this design, it's really tiny. It's gonna be hard to understand because it's not paper, it's not like transparent paper. So what you can see, it's a lot of space. So basically what we're gonna do, it's gonna try to redesign this, trying to use more space, more accurate. But before I do that, I do need a transparent paper to copy this size, but I might do it on regular paper. Let's see. Sorry guys, my first time, so I don't have a setup. I'm not like a YouTuber or anything. I'm just trying to do like a video. If it's not good, I'm not gonna post it for sure, but if it's nice, I might post it. I don't know. That sounds good. Alright, so you can see a little bit. You can always put on the sun too. Well, you can see it, but you can always put it like where it has light, right? So where is my pencil? All right, so first I need to get the size of the placement, and then I feel we can start drawing the coffin and the chain and see what we can do it, right? So this will be the first sketch, all right? So don't expect anything to like amazing or really nice, because as I say, it's just a sketch. This, I'm not drawing the coffin already, okay? So no rush. This is just the area of his arm, right? And then we're gonna start to drawing the coffin and do the stuff we think it's gonna work out. But as I say, let's see what we can do, right? He liked it, the first design. He said like, oh, it's really cool design, but I feel sincerely we can do better. It's just like, I feel it's a very strong tattoo since we're drawing coffin. So let's try to do a really nice one, right? Because it's kind of like, I don't know, guard tattoo or very strong, you know. I always like don't go too much over the idea with the client, because some tattoos are much more personal. So I don't feel it's my place to put it myself, but I always try to recommend what we can try to do different for don't be like too aggressive if it's not the idea. When I met the client, it's much easier as well, right? When I met the person, it's more easier, because you can try to help the person to understand in which way you can go with this tattoo, and maybe guide in a way to they don't regret in the future, because the tattoos is like some phase we're living the life, and maybe later you regret it. So I always try to ask how they feel they're gonna, like, they think how they feel it's gonna be like more in the future about the space. This guy, he asked like for redo the coffin, and then he said like, oh, later I want to add a smoke, but since the design is done, adding a smoke later, making like a connection to design is going to be really hard, right? I don't think it's going to be nice. And he said like, oh, so maybe imagine here, this is his shoulder, right? This goes to his neck, and here goes to his back. Here's the back, and here's the chest. One of the smoke goes around my back. It is nice, the idea, but I feel we should use the space we have very smart, and then if he wants to add more in the future, it's easy to make more smoke going around from the back of the other smokes and then adding something. But it's just like me, I don't feel it's gonna be nice to get like a smoke just put over his back after we finish the coffin. We don't know when, so this we make like more movement, right? We make like here more movement between, so we can see the transparency of the coffin in this movement of smoke in the front, but here is in the back of the lid of the coffin, of the coffin lid, and here is in the front of the coffin still, but in the back of the lid. So this movement, and here you can see have just a little smoke one, and it's gonna be like, when you shade is nice, right? Because it's gonna be the shading in the top of everything. So you can work with like a black shading, a gray shading, a very like light shading. Anyway, let's start working the design. He want a chain, right? He want a broken chain in the corner of the coffin. We know he wanted the coffin, and now we know he wanted the smoke, and he wanted something right on the lid. I'm gonna put a text. There's no text message here, just a text on the lid. Okay, so that's what the clients want, right? And then we can start working the design. All right. Yeah, the first drawing the coffin is the main point, is the design, right? Is that he wants, and then we see where we can add the chains and the smoke and everything, right? Obviously, I'm gonna try to draw the same one I did here, right? But maybe different, like smoke, more chain. We have more space. Let's see what's gonna come out, right? So I always recommend, if you're doing the first sketch, try to like I can say be more loose your hands, I guess, if that's the word. Don't try to be too hard, because you can always go fixing later the proportions and everything, right? It's always very geometric, right? This type of designs, so it's okay. It doesn't be like really good the first one you do, right? So let's see what's gonna come out from this. Normally I draw on the iPad, right? I think we are very like use it tattooers to draw on the iPad. I think it's very common. But this one, we're gonna try to do more freehand, I guess that's the word. I don't know, you tell me. So we want the chains going around here. Normally I just draw something more like this. And then later we can work more detailed, I don't know how to say that word. On the chain, so very rectangular shapes. And then as he showed me, the flowers was around here, but I feel it's gonna be like kind of like different, and we're gonna add the smokes. So the next one, maybe here is gonna be nicer. All right, very simple, basically that. And then we still have the space, and we can try to work. The design of the smoke. All right, so basically everything I did in the last 20 minutes, and I explained. I didn't record because as I say, I'm not using. So I say we can work with a fire movement to make the smoky upstairs on the top of the coffin, right? Because here we know what he wants. So now we understand a little bit the movement. We can work in the chunk of fire. It's kind of like a cloudy movement, but then we're gonna add the flames and going out as smoke and going out at the movement, right? So this is again basically the first sketch, all right? And later we're gonna work on the procreating, and I can show like the step how we can do this. And then if he agree and with this design he likes it, we gonna go for the tattoo, right? It's gonna be next Monday. Today is Tuesday. So let's keep drawing, right?